What's up, y'all? Brett here, YouTube channel Good Talk Gaming, and I'm coming back into this artifact draft. So we're 2-1 right now, not a bad record. And I just wanted to say, so the last episode, I was confident in the first game, and that was the game that I lost. And I got a little salty in the second game, and that was the game that I won. And I think that says a lot about these types of games and the attitude you have to have in general when playing these games. Don't give up. And don't get cocky. Those are nice little lessons for life in general. And it's good sometimes to take a step back and realize when you're getting aggravated in a game, and you need to just kind of chill out and realize that it's all good. And because honestly, that takes away from a lot of the fun. And if you're playing a game and you're not having fun, you just need to walk away. So I was getting a little antsy, a little aggravated at the end of the last video. Honestly, just because it was stressful. I mean, this game is very stressful. It's pretty taxing mentally. If you play for hours and hours, it can certainly be stressful. But we made it through. Stay tactical despite feeling emotional, which I think is the key to victory. And we're looking to expand our wins here and just generally grow in experience and become better at the game, so that eventually when we do start doing the expert play, we're not throwing away tickets. The dream here is to take these 5 tickets and parlay them into basically going infinite, making it so that we never have to spend another dollar in these drafts. We win much more than we lose, and we can play as many of these games as we want. So a triple red, blue, green deck. Interesting. Lots of very strong heroes here. Let's see what they lead with. They lead with all red. So they're going to be very strong in the opener here. And that's rough, because they're going to kill our Necrophos right off the bat. And that's the thing about red heroes. They're very strong in the opening battles. There's nothing we can do. We cannot save him. Mazzy has just too much armor. But at least we're able to get the Ironfall Goldmine down. And that's honestly why we have a black hero in our opener. Despite the obvious weaknesses, we were able to get down a turn 1 Ironfall Goldmine, which hopefully in the long run will make up for that early loss there. And then we'll just pass. Now they have a Zeus coming down, so we need to be very cognizant of their board clear. Oh, and that sucks. So they're going to kill 2 of our heroes turn 1. Unfortunate, and the Retaliate does the last bit of damage there. Okay, so we need to be very strategic going forward. We'll buy a healing salve because we need to make sure that we stay on the board. And we're going to get Magnus in the rightmost lane. Fortunately, we don't have any early costed green cards in our hand. And our hand is mostly early black, which we won't be able to play until next turn. But we will have 2 black heroes coming down, so we'll be able to play Trebuchet, No Accident, and potentially even another black card if we get one. We'll just have to see how that shakes out. Yeah, honestly wasn't sure where he would go with this Zeus. He was already getting 2 minions in this lane, plus Vin, so it felt honestly like he was winning regardless. Yeah, we're getting even more early black, we don't need, and unfortunately here we have a bad RNG on our Ogre Magi. He's taking just a ton of damage, so even this healing salve that we picked up won't be able to help. And our opponent is getting down a turn 2 Hourglass, which if you remember from the last game, nearly locked us out. We still won, but this game is not looking so hot as well. Could be a bit of a saving grace here if our opponent goes too hard in the middle lane. We can seek to contest the left and right, but neither one of those is going very well for us. But we now have 3 heroes coming down that turn. Okay, we're getting a bit of damage here, and we can use our healing salve on Magnus and maybe keep him up next turn. Okay, let's buy a cloak, and there's our Hourglass. Okay, this is pretty crucial. Where we go now really dictates the rest of this game. think we want a Debbie here. And then perhaps Zeus Necro in this lane. Yeah, Darkseer goes down the right lane. I think we made the right call. Would have been nice if Debbie would have curved here and hit Mazzy. Because she definitely has the damage. Oh, and she is. Okay. Yeah. And two of our cards are locked, which is unfortunate. We have Hipfire here, which due to his armor will only do 1 damage, which is then also not enough to kill him. So I think now we're going to play our Trebuchet.
By the time they know what to do, it'll be too late.
And we definitely want to get this thing off the board because we need this Hourglass gone. So Debbie, I guess she doesn't get her attack bonus. I'm not sure if she got her attack bonus there. I would assume she should have. So Magnus here, I'm kind of expecting another duel, to be honest. Yeah, and I was kind of expecting that as well. But our Magnus is down by 6, so we can heal him by 6. And if we can help it, we'd love to get more Traveler's Cloaks down. That way we can survive the impending Thunder God's Wrath that'll be hitting us in 2 turns. But we can still Hipfire here and kill off Legion Commander this turn.
I'll die for my people.
But they also have Surge, so they could potentially, if they think Legion Commander is going to die and they don't want that to happen, they could potentially move her, which is certainly worth noticing. It'll still be damaged though. Yeah, and let's see if he uses the Surge ability to save it. I wouldn't be surprised. Could then turn around and just drop it in the leftmost lane. Nope, gonna let it die. Okay. Makes sense. Alright, and we can take a shield here, as well as a Fountain Flask. I think that's a fine pickup. Ogre Magi can go here in the leftmost lane to give us some blue options, because we want to have this Glyph of Confusion. And the Glyph of Confusion, we could honestly put it down center. Oh, that might be better. Oh, next turn. We'll be able to play these next turn. Let's Glyph of Confusion. In the rightmost lane. Now if they want to contest and drop a bunch of minions down, they'll come into play stunned. And I think we're going to put the shield here on Debbie.
Nice back.
Give ourselves a bit of armor. It won't protect us from Thunder God's Wrath, because that does do piercing damage. But we also have a Thunder God's Wrath. Maybe next turn we can kill Mazzy. But we will be able to play a Fractured Timeline as well as an Ignite next turn, if we so choose, over Thunder God's Wrath. Or we could Thunder God's Wrath first, and then get these two down in a different lane. Either or. There's value to playing Fractured Timeline first, because if they're going to... we're going to an action phase, we can lock at least one card. But our opponent is sitting on a ton of cards right now. Okay, they're going to lock several of our cards once again. For many, many turns. And one of them is a heal. I mean, we have those types of powerful cards as well. We're just not exactly drawing them at the moment. And a bad RNG turn here is going to force us to do something about it. And I think what we do here, honestly, is we're going to hip fire, kill that creep. That's going to buff Necrophos by 1 and prevent him from taking 2. We also do 6 more damage, or 5 more damage I should say, to the tower. We kept our initiative, so then we can turn around and give him the Traveler's Cloak. Won't save him from a Thunder God's Wrath next turn, but much more survivable nonetheless. If our Fountain Flask wasn't locked, our plan was to give it to Magnus to help him survive the Thunder God's Wrath. That is no doubt coming. And I'm interested to see if our opponent will do anything here.
You're a traitor to the faith.
Ooh, that sucks. Comes into play stunned. I guess our opponent did not realize that because they just kind of threw it away. If it wasn't stunned, it would trade for Magnus. But that's a really good creature that we're just going to get to eat now for free. Guess they probably didn't read or pay much attention to that glyph. Yeah, and then they're going to move it. That's a nice play out of there. But it's still stunned. Probably won't really, I mean, it doesn't matter because as the next turn rolls around, it will no longer be stunned. And then it'll be in the left lane to deal damage to the Ogre Magi. And we'll grab another cloak. And another heal. That's perfect. That's what we need to keep our heroes alive. Legion Commander, wouldn't be surprised, honestly, either right or left lane. Would prefer it to go in the right lane, because then it'll be stunned for a turn. And maybe we can get some decent damage on it. But I think when we get to the mid lane, Necrophos is dead, Zeus is dead, Magnus is dead. So we're going to want to put our Traveler's Cloak here. Okay. Or even on Debbie, honestly. At any cost. That's quite the card. Could get us out of some bad situations here soon. So Thunder God's Wrath. And we'll hope to get a multicast. Mazzy's down. It's a bit of gold for us. There we go. We did not get a multicast, unfortunately. It would have been great. Then we could have potentially set up a turn and a turn or two where we would have had another one guaranteed.
I'll be an example to my men.
Interesting. So this turn, if he has Thunder God's Wrath, he's going to kill every single hero we have. So I think we have to Traveler's Cloak here.
Ooh, we're gonna have fun with this little bubble.
And that's all we can do. We're going to be left with Ogre Magi on the board. And at least we're trading there. So here it comes, without a doubt. Yeah. We tried to prepare, but just too many lockout cards preventing us from healing up our heroes effectively. And we'll just pass. And that gave our opponent a lot of gold.
A suitable trinket.
And they're going to protect themselves from another Thunder God's Wrath from us. But, I mean, honestly, we have an entire turn with no heroes in almost any lane. Game's looking pretty bad for us. But what we can do is we can drop Zeus, potentially, in the center lane, and then use something like At Any Cost, and wipe this, and stall it pretty much forever. That's an Iron Shell. That's Darkseer's signature card, giving him Retaliate. Ooh, and a Furline Mantle is something we could use as well as the potion. So all of our minions going in the left lane. Okay. So I think it's pretty easy to feel like we're somewhat behind here. They have no heroes in this lane. I'm not worried about Ogre Magi at the moment, but I think what we need to do is fracture timeline here,
What we can do.
and we'll lock something out as we go to the next lane. And then we'll also ignite.
Let's show 'em what we can do.
Sounds good to me.
And now we come over here. Let's Potion of Knowledge, see what we draw. Probably should have done that first. Yeah, definitely should have done that first.
Thanks.
Would have killed Darkseer, essentially. But if we do it next turn, if we get a chance to, which we should be able to start the next turn with the Thunder God's Wrath. And Ignite is going to do 1 damage to Sven. So we should be able to kill Sven and Darkseer with our Thunder Gods, as well as, you know, heavily damaging these two. And we have to remember, if we put anything in the right lane, it's going to come down stunned, so we won't get the benefit of those spells. Good play there from the opponent. Picking up Sven, going to prevent the next turn Thunder God's Wrath. Going to be able to come down probably in the left lane. If he goes in the right, they'll be stunned, but he has triple red heroes coming up. I think a lot of this game is going to come down to where we put our heroes. And we're going to maintain initiative for the next turn, which is nice. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if he used Surge to give this minion to another lane. And he's going to save him too with a Traveler's Cloak. So probably should have expected that. Our opponent is playing pretty heavily around it, which is good on him. Don't have enough for our Hourglass. I think we pass. We need to get more items. Okay, this is pretty crucial for us. We cannot afford to lose this lane. So we Zeus here. We Magnus mid, Necrophos left. We can Debbie as well.
15 seconds.
So this is what I'm hoping happens, guys. Ooh, is this what we want to do? You could just overload center and then we like lose.
5 seconds remaining. 3.
We're gonna Necrophos mid.
1.
If he overloads center, that would be bad. If he goes multiple in the right lane, it's honestly not that bad because we're looking to use at any cost, and we're gonna wipe him. We just need to survive 1 turn with our stunned Zeus. Yeah, and here I think the only play is a Thunder God's Wrath. Hope to get a multicast, which we did not. We haven't gotten any this game. see what our opponent decides to do. We can't cast anything else. That's all we got. But if we give our Ogre Magi a Fountain Flask, he'll survive another Thunder God's Thunder God's Wrath from their Zeus, which is all we need to happen.
I will not wade into battle unprepared.
This is all fine, except for the fact that we should be doing about 4 damage to the tower that we're not, and then our Trebuchet would finish it next turn, but that's okay. We're going to give our Furline Mantle to our Zeus. We absolutely have to have Zeus alive for anything good to go our way. We also have Pick Off here, which doesn't do piercing damage, which is worth noticing because all of these heroes here have huge armor and we can't really damage them. But we could just no accident this Zeus. And then Heartstopper Aura. Or Empower. We have a lot of choices in this lane right now. Necrophos is kind of getting buff. Okay, so he's going to pick up the Zeus. Not a bad call. And I think here, honestly, we just we Heartstopper.
I'm going to enjoy watching you die.
And we have Pick Off. We don't have great targets. Honestly, considering killing this minion, hoping that changes the clock somewhat, but it doesn't matter because next turn we're going to do our best to maintain initiative, and then we're going to at any cost. So do we play anything else? We can also...
15 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I like that. We'll just buff our Necrophos. Now he's pretty scary. Nothing can really stand in front of him. And he's going to get 3 more HP off of those 3 kills. And at this point, honestly, we want our opponent to invest really heavy in this lane. Whatever he gets next turn, we want him to drop him in this lane. We're just going to make sure Zeus survives by giving it the Furline Mantle. There's no black in his deck. We don't have to worry too much about condemn cards. That's a little rough. But there we go. Plus 8 health is a lot of health. But yeah, this glyph has been coming up pretty big for us every game we've played it. And now we get the Hourglass. We'll take the Hourglass as well as the Scroll of Town Portal, which could end up becoming very relevant for us. Wouldn't be surprised to see Zeus go left lane just to get an early Thunder Gods. But if he doesn't go mid, then we're just going to take it, and we're going to have to take it left. Yeah, okay. That was probably a smart play there. We just were probably going to give some buffs.
Let's see them try to kill me.
And definitely we're going to play Hourglass here. If we don't do anything, we just keep our initiative. Which if we don't keep our initiative for the last turn, we will lose this game. Our opponent also could be sitting on it at any cost. That's worth knowing. But that wouldn't be terrible for us, because this is not the lane that we're the most worried about. We straight lose the game if we don't play this next turn. Interesting. Yeah, we need initiative. That sucks, but we still have initiative. And here we go. So, we took out one hero. Zeus taking this hit is going to prevent damage to our tower. Can live for one more turn. I may have been confusing at any cost with a different card. I wish there was a way to go further back. Card inspection. Oh, here it is. 6 damage to every unit. I don't know why I was thinking this was the card that condemned every unit on the battlefield. I think we have that in our deck, but I certainly don't have it here. But now we have the option to pick off Legion Commander, and we can do that from the first lane. And this greatly reduced the risk that we die. We can also ignite this lane and kill off this this tree boy. We thunderstorm here and we kill both of these, and we deal 1 damage to Sven, which is not super relevant. I would like to keep my Ogre Magi, which we can do. If we just, I think if we, no, that won't work either. Yeah, I think we just need to ignite here. Want to get a 7-1 off the battlefield. And now we can pick up Ogre Magi and save it.
Two heads are better than the bleeding thing where your head used to. I'm sorry, this got to be.
I think we're going to put the Hourglass here on Debbie. We needed to get this down like the turn we got it. We just couldn't afford to lose initiative from the mid lane. Otherwise we would have given it to Magnus, I think. Yeah, he's not wearing a health item. Can we keep him alive?
I would really prefer
So we can give them -2 attack, and it'll go to Sven as well. Oh, that's nice. So we can save our Scroll of Town Portal for next turn. Town Portal Scroll. Played a lot of Warcraft 3 back in the days, guy. So, if I say things a little backwards, that's where it's coming from. When he gets a duel off. Unfortunate. We did force them to use a card, though, which isn't nothing. Obviously, that wasn't ideal for us. So this gold mine has been doing a lot of work for us this game. What turn is this? We're at 11 mana. Wow, check out that Ignite, and then +2 health to Necrophos, who is now just killing it for us this game. And I think we're going to Sister of the Veil here. And I think we just want to push as much damage as we can get on this tower, which means we may even want to no accident. Do we want to do that? If we no accident here, we keep 2 damage. We do 2 extra damage to the tower. It could end up mattering towards the math of how quickly we're able to kill this. Also, I don't think we're going to have an opportunity to use those cheap black cards later. And there we go. That's why we play the Ignite in this lane. Lucky for us that this Mazzy has to hit this minion.
This place needs a little kinfolk love.
Good play there. That's going to slow our clock down.
You need the place fortified?
And that's going to slow it down a lot. That means our minions essentially do no damage to the tower now. It's all Necrophos and this Sister of the Veil here.
I can't wait to kill someone with this thing.
Okay. It's rough because it doesn't really even matter what we draw, because it's going to be locked by the hourglass. But I think we still need to... Yeah, we got both of our minions in the right lane, which is perfect. So we're going to overload the right lane. They're going to be stunned, but they should survive a turn, which is all we need. We just need to get to this thunderstorm in the right lane, and I think we can come back and win this game. Also, obviously, greatly depends on where they go. With these 2 heroes, they could go all left, which would be pretty bad for us. We could block for a bit with the Tyler Estate Sensor. They're not going to go mid. I mean, there's really no way. Yeah, they're going to go all in on right, which means they're going to enter battlefield stunned, but it does widen the board, so the chances of us being able to place heroes in front of their correct targets is much less. And of course these are going to be locked, but that's okay. We just need Thunder God's Wrath for next turn, not this turn. And honestly, we could pick up Debbie and put Debbie in the mid lane. Let's go there. That should stall for a bit. And honestly, I think we pick up Debbie. Debbie is not needed here. We can Ogre Magi the first lane next turn, and then we can Thunder God's Wrath from the first lane, from the safety of the first lane, is my thought. So yeah, let's pick her up. I don't think we win this game by taking this core down to 0. So we played our black card and now it's time to go. This will stall Sven for quite a few turns.
I can feel your heart beat.
I don't think it does us any good to go double Heartstopper. Yeah, this turn we won't play anything. Ignite doing work. It'll kill Mazzy for us next turn all by itself if he doesn't have some sort of heal.
Much better.
Yep, that's a full heal. Okay. So let's put a cloak down on Magnus. We're also going to drop the Stonehall Pike and the Short Sword on them as well. Probably give the Pike to Magnus. We'll probably be on the board the longest. And Short Sword to Zeus.
This will come in handy.
Yeah, none of that surprises me.
This will work.
This is just a better Short Sword.
This will do nicely.
Okay. So we're staying alive, guys. This isn't exactly what we were looking for, but could be something we need. So I think Ogre Magi goes down in the left lane, and then Debbie goes down in the right. Well, let's see here. If she goes down in the mid, this has double armor, so nothing, nothing. She does 7 damage to the tower. That's not enough to win it for us. That wins it for us in 2 turns. But I'd rather have the option to play... This is interesting. Okay, I think we have to go right lane. If he hadn't have 2 armors, 2 steel reinforcements in the center lane, we would certainly go center. And then hope to try and win in 2 turns, but that's just not the case. Oh, we also have Shiva's Guard. We can reduce these guys' attacks even further. Double dimensional portal. It's locked, but still pretty sweet. So Thunder God's Wrath doesn't kill anyone. But we have Satyr Magician. If we can get a double cast, we can Satyr's Magician first, cast Thunder God's Wrath. If we get a multicast, then we fully restore our mana and do it again. Does that kill anyone? No, but I mean that's a heck of a lot of damage. And then we could Thunderstorm in that lane, and that certainly kills people. They have a lot of armor, but that gets us there on some of them.
The Knights of Zavisual are well adorned.
Interesting. Yeah. And they're just completely neutered. This could be the beginning of a beautiful thing, guys. You could also ignite this lane. Have double ignite. This minion dies before the battle even starts. That's worth considering, but I don't know how we can throw away the opportunity to potentially double Thunder God's Wrath. We just need to get lucky. Nice. Can our opponent do anything about this?
I have something special in store for you.
There we go. And that's why we run the combo of Zeus, Ogre Magi. That didn't just win it for us or anything, but that was 8 piercing damage. And now we can go to this lane with our ignite. So double ignite in this lane is going to kill Mazzy right at the beginning. who isn't stunned, which is important to note. Depending on whether or not we have initiative, I don't think we need to pick up Ogre Magi here, though perhaps we should. You know what, I think we do. I don't see any downside to not picking him up. This tower's not taking any damage whatsoever, and we'll be able to play him next turn in any lane that we need. We just pass. We're getting there slowly but surely. And the double ignite clears out Zeus and Mazzy for us. And this is a pretty hard lane to contest now with 2 ignites in it. And we're going to Thunderstorm, and it's going to kill everything but... oh wow. Okay. For each enemy. Yeah, I think if ever there was a time to play this card, it's right now. Before we take out everyone. So let's see how strong this is when we play it.
I serve the ancients.
An 8-12. Wow. With a heck of a lot of cleave. It's stunned, but after we play Thunderstorm, this board is going to look very weak for our opponent. And he's going to come out of the next turn not stunned. Oh my god, we gave him a turn and we got punished. But Static Field is going to pierce. So that changes the math a little bit. Dang, we got punished for playing him first. Unfortunate. That could come back to bite us, honestly. He could choose to now surge one of these out of here. We're killing one of these right off the bat, which is nice. With all this cleave, this is one of those units you wish was kind of towards the center here.
Your power grows.
Okay, better retaliate. Next turn, we'll have double Dimensional Portal. We can drop Ogre Magi in the rightmost lane. Oh, the opponent conceded. Awesome. I was concerned there. I was like, wow, we're not able to buy our items. But no, the opponent conceded. And guys, that was like a 40-minute game. Okay. Do we dare do one more? I have time for another one. Let's do another one. That was a good one, guys. For how rough that game started, we used our board clear effectively. We got lucky on that multicast, but I mean, we hadn't hit a single multicast all game, so I think it was about time we got multicast on our side. But this deck certainly wins through improvements, and that's what we were able to do. Oh, and he got the buff. This is a very bad matchup for us, but we're going to get down, once again, the Gold Mine, which that game was secretly behind the scenes doing a lot of work for us. We had 26 gold when we ended that match. Really wish Necrophos wasn't dying here. Our entire hand is black cards. And we're not getting another black hero for 2 turns. Unfortunate. We have so many low-cost blue cards. So many ignites we could be getting down early. It feels bad when we're not able to do that. Other allies in all lanes have +1 attack. See, I've never gotten a chance to draft this card, but this seems very strong. I would love to get an Hourglass. Let's take a Traveler's Cloak. An early Traveler's Cloak can do a lot of work for us. Scared to put our Magnus down in just about any lane, because he's just going to get bopped. But let's go to the left here. I don't think Debbie's going to go there. I think Debbie's going to go either center or right lane. See if my predictions are correct. Our opponent decided to sit on 7 gold. Maybe not a bad choice depending on what they were offered. Opponent's really mulling it over, the Sistine Chapel. Yeah, right lane. Probably hoping to get it in front of the Ogre Magi. And they got it, so good on them. And if they don't do anything here, we're going to be able to take out their bounty hunter, which is nice. So they have initiative. Let's see what they do. We're just going to pass. I wouldn't be surprised to see no accident here, maybe to affect some sort of trade. If they do that, I'm going to Traveler's Cloak and save him. We don't have any cards to play, which is unfortunate. Would love to get this Sylvanas off the board, or whatever her name is in her. Not remembering what the name is. Let's see, what is this? The Oath. You cannot play spells or creeps while this is the active lane. If there is an allied black hero in this lane, allies have +4 attack. Interesting. So we'll save him.
Help with survivor.
Our opponent may have just given us this lane. Which is pretty good. So now we just need to choose where we want this ignite. If we put it in this lane, it'll do 1 damage before combat, and then in 2 turns we'll have Debbie dead, which could be important. If we go in the left lane between the Oath and Ignite, I don't think our opponent will contest this at all. And it may be time to consider giving up. I mean, it's kind of early, but this is a pretty overwhelming little force here that I don't think we can contest.
It is an honor to
And I made the call. We're going to go Ignite in the right lane. And I think that's because I may want to get down Necrophos in the right lane next turn and try and kill something and get his health rocking right off the bat. We'll have 10 gold. We'll have access to Hipfire. We can go Trebuchet, Keenfolk Turret. I mean, whatever we want. That's a lot of good improvements. And we should be able to get several kills, boost Necrophos' health, so that we can keep it in the lane longer. And then I think we'll be in good shape to win both of these lanes. We don't necessarily want to just roll over and die in the center lane, but we may end up having to. Okay, so a big improvement in the center lane, increasing their mana. I think they realize that they're winning center lane pretty handily, and maybe they're going to lean into trying to overwhelm us that way. I like a good heal. I think that's all fine. Necrophos in that lane, and we can go. Yeah, let's Debbie in that lane. That way we can Keenfolk Turret or Trebuchet right off the bat. Hoping to draw a cheaper blue card, potentially even another Ignite would be very good. So a Skywrath Mage. He can lower armor for a turn, and he also has a super dangerous 6-cost card. And he's going in the right lane. That's a little surprising to me. But Necrophos is going to be dying. Or at least that's what we're seeing at the moment. Because he is up against the Debbie. No, the Debbie's going to die. The Debbie's going to die, and Necrophos is going to get...
You think I can't kill you?
We'll give ourselves the turret. And then I think we'll Trebuchet as well in that lane.
This might get messy.
Yep, seems fine to me. Our opponent will have initiative next turn, but I would love to heal up this Zeus and then give it a short sword and make him kill Ogre Magi. Let's hope we can do that. We'll see what they cast though. They're sitting at 7 mana. They could honestly cast anything. Okay. Mystic Flare. If he was going to use that card, that's where we want him to use it. He didn't get a multicast, which was nice for us. That card is just brutal. I mean, there's no playing around it. The only defense is probably to have an all-red deck with just lots of armor. And I don't think it does piercing damage. We'll have to check it out. Look at it. Yeah, it's 12 damage, not piercing damage. So a lot of armor. If it does, you know, 1 instance at a time of damage, the armor would just negate it. And so potentially very bad against a heavily armored deck. But that does kind of suck. Ogre Magi will come down next turn, and we could potentially Thunderstorm the center lane and just set our opponent's clock back ridiculously. And we may want to do that.
Your pain is delectable.
And just like that. Back in it, boys. Ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead here and we'll hip fire. No green cards for you. Necrophos rises in power by 1. We'll come here and use our Keen Folk turret. Boom.
Your death
He rises
was
by
a
another.
foregone conclusion.
And he's moving, he's inching closer and closer
I will crush
to that Skywrath Mage.
Oh, yeah.
Give him the short sword as well. So we're actually ahead in the race, which is really surprising. We can condemn an improvement. I kind of like having this in our back pocket. Let's see what else we can draw. So we can't play that. Let's take that and take this. So we have 2 good healings. What do they call these? The flasks. Let's go center lane here with Ogre Magi. And we'll Thunderstorm. Is that what we want to do? Or do we want to go left lane and lock some of their cards? Ooh, we can lock a lot of cards. But we don't want him in the left lane. If he puts Bounty Hunter here, he reactivates his Oath. Can we get rid of him? We cannot, but we can Obliterating Orb. No, this is fine. This is what we need to do. Okay. So our fears were unfounded there. We don't want Debbie to die. Probably end up giving her the cloak here. Could also consider giving it to Necrophos. And just using, yeah, we'll use one of our heals rather and save the cloak. Our opponent can't do anything, so they should just pass for us here. And it kind of feels bad to use a healing flask for 3, or a fountain flask for 3, but I think that's fine. And I think we save the rest. What are we doing with Necrophos in the right lane? We'll probably drop Sister. So do we want to give Debbie the Heartstopper aura? No, they're both dying. There won't be anyone to clear after this. Okay. We need our opponent essentially not to do anything that kills Ogre Magi. We don't want him to cast another one of those flare moves. Because then we'll Thunderstorm, we'll wipe out 5 of these minions and put Ogre Magi down to 1.
Let's show him what we can do.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Not very impressive.
And that feels good.
Between the 2 of us, we can figure out how to use this thing.
We can Obliterating Orb this. it feels like a bit of a waste, but yeah, I think we're going to do it here to get rid of this Ignite in the contested lane.
Crush you!
That's fine.
They better run.
Okay. Really wish we had a way to kill him, because I have a pretty strong suspicion here that we're going to get hit with that flare move, and then we're not going to be able to play any of our black cards. And if that's the case, we need to do this first.
15 seconds remaining. You can't
It also will help us divide some of this damage if he does play it. So -2 armor this turn.
Such sweet suffering.
Fortunately, we can't save Necrophos here. Yeah, there's the Mystic Flare. We expected that. Still kind of want to put the cloak on him, just to have had it on him. I don't see there being any other good use for that, so we'll just give it to him here.
Wise decision.
Your name is on my list.
We'll make our sister attack and kill the Skywrath,
I walk.
and we'll take out the thing killing the sister. And that's just a nice series of plays here. And he's just taking so much damage. Yeah, he's taking his exact health total thanks to that negative armor. That's okay. We still have a unit in this lane. We have triple improvements in that lane also ticking away. Ooh, Shiva's Guard. Nice. And as much as I'd like to have a blue hero in the leftmost lane, so that we could Thunder God's Wrath right off the bat, I think that's not the play. We need to be able to do something from this lane. And I honestly think our opponent is going to go both in this lane. They may put perhaps Debbie center. That wouldn't be terribly surprising to me. Also a little bit rough that we weren't able to get a Town Portal Scroll. Could potentially be relevant. Yeah, there we go. Probably, no doubt, hoping to get Debbie in front of our Ogre Magi, which they were not able to, so that's great for us. Magnus being a little bit diverted here. And we're going to use Empower. Just because we can't do it in any other lane, there's no point in holding it. I think we just call that good. I wish we could kill this minion and deal, 9 more damage to the tower, but that's just not to be. So now we can Thunder God's Wrath or Lost in Time. I want to save Thunder God's Wrath for next turn, I feel. So I think we're going to Lost in Time now. Perhaps give the, oh god, no. Okay, so it didn't lock the ones we were most concerned about. Yeah, let's do this first. Oh, we got another one, beautiful. So we can do that again next turn with Zeus in lane. And I think we're going to give Ogre Magi here the Shiva's Guard. That is okay. And we can use that here and reduce their attack, or here, and make it so that Ogre Magi doesn't take any damage this turn. But he's unblocked, so we're going to reduce his damage. And this is permanent. This is a modification. I would be feeling pretty bad about that if I was the opponent. Every time we see these two heroes for the rest of the game, they're going to have 2 less damage. And in 2 turns, we'll be able to do that again, which feels pretty good. We're slowing him down, his clock, significantly. Okay, that sucks. That prevents us from using our Lost in Time. But we can still force the trade here. Perfect. Okay. We just need to pick up some scrolls of Town Portal. We need those pretty bad. And we're not going to get them. That could have been a game-winning RNG move there. But we'll still be able to Thunder God's Wrath right off the bat. We'll kill Ogre Magi. We'll kill... what is her name? Drow Ranger. That's right. So we'll kill Drow Ranger. So not altogether bad. And we almost want to just let her die to trade, but let's... What else did we draw? Sure we're not missing out on any good options. So the first Thunder God's coming down this game. And we managed to hold it until they had all of their heroes on the board, which feels pretty good. Once again, Magnus, you know, hitting a target that we don't need him to hit. Pretty brutal. That's not what I meant to do, sorry about that. May end up giving the cloak to Ogre Magi here mid. Yeah, I just don't see any reason to do anything else. They're just not contesting this lane whatsoever. And we'll be able to kill it next turn. Pretty much guaranteed. And now we can Lost in Time. Hopefully lock out some more relevant cards. Man, gotta love reducing his attack to 0. Thanks to getting that Drow Ranger off the battlefield, they're so much weaker. We're going to lose this tower here, but I think we're heavily favored in all the other lanes. Let's see if we get another multicast. That would be sick. No luck, but that's okay. Should not get greedy. And I think we absolutely have to have Ogre Magi stick around.
So do I hit people with it?
No, we wear it.
So we're going to do that. You can also give him a short sword.
It's not a rock.
Perhaps a bit unnecessary. Maybe should have held that. But, I mean, our Zeus would be the only other person right now that I would consider giving that to. And Zeus already has the sword. So, unless... We really need to draw a Town Portal scroll next turn. And here... So, we'll see what color card our opponent plays, what they do. Okay. So, this is pretty important. This only goes towards units. So, we're going to kill Skywrath Mage. Prevent him from lowering our armor.
What did you have against me?
It also prevents any blue cards from being played. But I think what we need to do here is we need to Disciple.
How can I?
And this is going to help us burst down this tower this turn. We also still have Heartstopper Aura, which we will now give
Watch your body
to Necrophos. And he can handle the minus armor because his HP is enormous. So there goes our first tower, and we should... I think we're taking the tower in the left lane this turn as well. So, I don't think there's anything our opponents can do to stop us. Wow, that's pretty brutal. That's some pretty good items here in the late game. That should pretty much just wrap this whole thing up. They can put 3 heroes down in this lane, which I'm very much expecting them to do. Otherwise, it's GG. Alright, I like pickoff. And our opponent's going to concede, so wow, 2 hard-fought games in a row. Our control game is very strong. Our improvements are also very good, and our deck has a lot of synergy. And I love Necrophos. I love the Ogre Magi Zeus combo. And then Magnus just has kind of a big tanky boy. We're not really getting much of his value out of his green cards. Honestly, we could have probably cut green entirely from our deck and just played some of our weaker blue and black cards. But I do like Magnus. He's been a fun splash. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. I think I'm going to leave it at a bit of a cliffhanger. We're well over an hour right now. And cross your fingers, wish me luck, and hope we go for the big 5-1. That's a pretty good record, and it's something I would be proud of. So guys, once again, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and consider subscribing. Very small YouTube channel. I appreciate every single subscriber that I get. I get pretty hyped about it. Let me know in the comments who you are so I can thank you. And like the video if you did like it. That helps me know that I'm doing a good job. So alright guys, without any further ado, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.